Birds are very special animals because they have feathers, right? That makes them really different than other animals. Another thing that makes birds unique is they all have a beak. So their beaks are made out of a material called keratin, which is the same type of material you might see in nails or in the horn on a rhino. Birds have beaks, but they do not have teeth, right? And there are some other animals that have beaks as well that you might not have thought of before that are not birds. A platypus has a beak. It's not a bird. It doesn't have feathers, right? Another animal that you might not have thought of before that has a beak, we might not think of it as having a beak, is a turtle. And also a squid. Interesting, right? Different birds have different types of beaks. It depends on what they eat, right? So their beak is made special for the type of food it eats. Some birds are carnivores. They eat other animals. Some birds are herbivores. That means they eat plants. And some are omnivorous. This means they eat both plants and animals. So think about different birds you know and think about the shape of their beak, and then you can try to decide what they might eat. Maybe you could even go for a walk today around your neighborhood and look for birds. And look especially at their beaks and see if you can figure out what type of food they eat. I'm going to show you a few different birds and we'll talk about their different beaks. Look at all these different beaks. Aren't they all very, very different? So this bird has a perfect beak for eating seeds. That bird is a seed eater. This bird has a long beak and it eats worms. Think about the worms, they live underground and that bird's got to poke its beak in to find that worm and pick it up. This type of bird here is an insect eater. So its beak is a little smaller and sharper than the seed eater, right? And then we have a bird that is a meat eater. Like all other raptors, they have a sharp hooked beak for eating meat and tearing into the meat it eats. Here, let me show you a few more pictures. These are some birds you might even find around your neighborhood. Do you know what kind of bird this is? Right, it's a hummingbird. Hummingbirds have such a long, skinny beak, perfect for getting nectar out of flowers. How about a woodpecker? Have you ever seen a woodpecker or heard a woodpecker pecking on a tree? Woodpeckers eat insects found inside tree bark, so they need a sharp, pointy beak to peck holes into the tree bark to get those insects out. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Today you're going to get to make your own beak. And then, once you make your beak, you can wear it. Looks like this. Quack, quack. So you're going to need your cone for this project, and then have your parents cut it for you so it looks kind of like a beak. And then you can use your paints or your markers to paint or color your beak, and then have your parents help you attach the string and you can wear your beak. And maybe you can even sing this song with your beak on. So think about all the things that we talked about that birds eat. Do you remember one of them? Seeds, right? So let's start the song with a bird eating seeds. It goes like this. If you're hungry and you know it, peck some seeds. If you're hungry and you know it, peck some seeds. If you're hungry and you know it, open your beak and show it. If you're hungry and you know it, peck some seeds. Yay! What was another thing that we said that sometimes birds eat? Worms? Yeah, worms. So let's eat that that little worm, we're going to need a skinnier beak this time, right? If you're hungry and you know it, eat some worms. If you're hungry and you know it, eat some worms. If you're hungry and you know it, open your beak and show it. If you're hungry and you know it, eat some worms. Yay! Try it with different kinds of things. You could be a hummingbird sipping nectar. Should we try that one? Okay, get a really skinny beak this time. If you're hungry and you know it, sip some nectar. If you're hungry and you know it, sip some nectar. If you're hungry and you know it, open your beak and show it. If you're hungry and you know it, sip some nectar. Yum. All right, kids. I hope to see you out there doing some bird watching today. You can wear your beak. Quack, quack. Cheep, cheep. What kind of bird will you be with your beak on? You can be anything you want. Have fun. See you soon.